let's get this out of the way. This is another weekly friggin' occurrence here. Onto your season is over video. I'm still seeing way too many comments about firing Jimbo Fisher. Look, we get it. Everybody gets it. It's an epic failure and a disaster. There is no debate. You won't find anybody at this point that's willing to take up for Jimbo Fisher. Not even the most diehard Texas A&M fans or Jimbo Fisher supporters are willing to stick their neck out on the line right now for Jimbo Fisher. This is the worst coaching performance in America this year, and no one else is even close. Nobody. This is by far the worst coaching performance of the season across the entire country is what Jimbo Fisher has done at Texas A&M this year. Absolutely unacceptable. Lose yesterday to one of the worst Auburn teams we've seen in a decade. An Auburn team with no Cadillac Williams is their coach. Cadillac Williams. Where was this guy at last year? In other words, it's not like this guy is some amazing coach. Look, I like Cadillac Williams. He was a hell of a player. I saw his post-game interviews after the game yesterday. I like what I hear from Cadillac Williams. Great guy. Passionate about Auburn. Clearly loves Auburn. He's not an elite-level coach, and you got out-coached by him. This cannot happen. And as bad as Jimbo Fisher is, and yeah, it's been an epic failure and a disappointment at Texas A&M, as bad as it is, this is not Jimbo. What's happening right now is not Jimbo Fisher's fault. Well, what's happening is Jimbo Fisher's fault. But the predicament that Texas A&M finds themselves in right now is not Jimbo Fisher's fault. Again, I feel like I'm saying this week after week with Texas A&M. But hell, if you're tired of hearing me talk about it, Texas A&M, then start winning some fucking games. You've lost, 6, 7 games in a row? You're a goddamn joke at this point. You're the laughingstock of college football. This is Texas A&M's fault, the university. They never should have given Jimbo that contract last September. They gave Jimbo this ridiculous contract last September, $9-10 million a year. That's not the worst part about it, okay? You want to pay, you've got money, you want to pay some idiot $10 million to coach you to an 8-4 season in a good year, a 3-9 season in a bad year, fine. Light the money on fire and send it his way. I don't care. Where you screwed up was guaranteeing that over a 10-year period. That's where you screwed up because you can't afford to fire this guy. And look, I'll believe it when I see it. All these stories about Texas A&M boosters are going to pull together $95 million to pay his buyout. I don't see that happening. Do you have any idea how much money that is? Schools struggle to pay $15, $20, $25 million buyouts. Do you know the financial hole that will put Texas A&M in if they shell out $90 million to get rid of Jimbo Fisher? Of course he should be fired. He's horrendous. He's horrendous. I'll believe it when I see it. I don't think anybody's forking over that kind of money to get rid of a college football coach. I just don't believe it. I've been wrong before. Maybe I'll be wrong again. But to the cadets, to the college football G.I. Joes out there in College Station, Jimbo Fisher's going to be your coach next year. So I suggest you find a way to deal with it. And wearing ROTC uniforms that are 2 sizes too small with a silly-ass crew cut that an 8-year-old would be embarrassed to wear, twirling around a wooden gun at yell practice, you can do all that shit till the cows come home. It's not going to make Jimbo Fisher a good head coach. He's fallen on his face. It's an embarrassment. It's an embarrassment to Texas A&M to have this kind of a record. It's an embarrassment at Texas A&M that they have put themselves in this hole with this contract. It's embarrassing that you lost 13-10. 10 points you scored on Auburn. And Jimbo Fisher's an offensive guy, and that might be the worst part of it all. Texas A&M's defense is not horrible. Now, you can argue it should be playing a little better than it is, okay, and there's been a few games maybe they gave up too many points, but if you're trying to pinpoint one, the biggest area of concern on Texas A&M, it's offense, and that's Jimbo Fisher's offense. That's why you hire Jimbo Fisher. So if you take away the offensive play calling from Jimbo, if you force Jimbo to go out and hire an offensive coordinator for $2, $3, $4 million a year, then what do you need Jimbo for? He's not there because he runs a great program. He's there because you wanted his offense, and his offense is failing in 2022. It's outdated. It's slow. It's not innovative at all. It doesn't put nearly enough of an emphasis on getting your most talented players the ball. You know, walking around on the sideline with 448 pieces of loose leaf paper, fumbling them around, asking your quarterback to basically memorize an encyclopedia's worth of useless and pointless information doesn't appear to be working in 2022. It doesn't. Look at Tennessee. Tennessee's playbook, you could fit Tennessee's playbook on the back of this YouTube coaster. Hurry to the ball, snap it as quick as you can. Run a go route unless the corner is playing soft coverage. If they are, run an 8-yard curl. That's it. That's Tennessee's playbook. Gimmick fucking offense. But it sure is working better than Texas A&M's 448-page manifesto on how to run a college football offense. Ain't it, Jimbo? Yeah, it is. Texas A&M's a disaster. I predict they'll be a disaster next year. I predict they're going to lose a bunch of people to the transfer portal in the offseason. I predict this coming recruiting class that signs in December and February is going to be nowhere near, not even in the same universe as last year's recruiting class. And I predict that we're not too far away from being at a point where instead of Texas A&M fans complaining that they're going 8-4 every year, they're going to be on their hands and knees worshiping their G.I. Joe figures, praying for an 8-4 season. That's my prediction. Texas A&M, your season's been over. You're a dead program. Sorry. It is what it is.